Hello, third grade, and welcome to lesson 9-7. This lesson is titled Construct Arguments. So when we're working on constructing an argument, you're basically finding a way to defend your answer and explain why your answer is correct. So let's go ahead and watch our video lesson and then jump into our notes and guided practice together so that we can practice constructing arguments to support our answers.
How can you construct arguments? Think about this question during the lesson. Nancy has $457 in her savings account and wants to have $500 by the end of the year. Christopher has $557 in his savings account and wants to have $600 by the end of the year. Who needs to save more money by the end of the year? My conjecture. They both need to save the same amount. A conjecture is a statement that you think is true. It needs to be proved or disproved. Think, how can I explain why my conjecture is correct? I need to construct an argument to justify my conjecture. Think, how can I construct an argument? I can use numbers, objects, drawings, or actions to explain my thinking. Make sure my explanation is simple, complete, and easy to understand. What are examples of drawings and objects that can be used to construct arguments?
Think about how you can prove your conjecture that Nancy and Christopher need to save the same amount.
Number lines and place value blocks are two examples that can be used to construct arguments. Here's my thinking. I will use drawings and numbers to explain my thinking. Remember that Nancy has $457 and wants to have $500. Christopher has $557 and wants to have $600. The distance from 457 to 500 on the number line is the same as the distance from 557 to 600. Why are number lines a good way to prove this conjecture? The number lines provide a strong visual, clearly showing that the distance from 457 to 500 is the same as the distance from 557 to 600. The number lines show that it takes the same amount of money to get from $457 to $500 that it takes to get from $557 to $600. So 500 minus 457 equals 600 minus 557. My conjecture is correct. You used number lines to construct an argument to prove your conjecture.
Okay, so let's take a look at our notes and guided practice, and we'll review some of these strategies together. Now, when we have a conjecture, remember, conjecture is a statement that you think is true. So you either need to prove it or you need to disprove it. So if I'm saying, I think they need to save the same amount of money, what I have to do is I need to tell you why I think that. I need to be able to support my answer and prove that as the correct answer. So there's a couple different ways that I can do this. I can either use numbers, objects, drawings, or actions to correctly explain my thinking, or I can make sure that when I explain that my explanation is simple, it's complete, it makes sense, and that it's easy to understand. Now let's take a look at an example. My example here says Emma has $191. She spends $105. She donates $52 to charity. Can Emma save at least $30? So my conjecture, my guess, is that Emma can save, that yes, she can save at least $30. So then I'm going to use drawings and numbers to prove my conjecture. So I'm going to make a bar diagram. So 191 is how much money Emma has altogether. We know she spent 105 and then she donated 52. And then there's that last little bit, which is what we need to figure out. So I can work this two different ways because remember, addition and subtraction are inverse operations. I can do the whole minus the parts that I know to find my missing part, like I did over here. 191 minus 105 minus 152 gives me my missing piece. Or I can work it as an addition problem and say 105 plus 52 plus a number equals 191. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first add the parts that I know. So I'm going to add 105 and 52. That gave me 157. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract those parts from the whole to find my missing part. So I'm going to take my 191 minus the 157, which is the sum of these two parts, to find the difference. So here I can see there's a difference of $34. So yes, Emma was able to save $34, not just 30. So my conjecture was correct. My guess over here was correct, and I proved it by using numbers and equations, by using a bar diagram, and by subtracting and regrouping. Now let's take a look at another example. So Arya practiced for 608 minutes. Her goal is to practice for 700 minutes. How many more minutes does she need to practice to reach her goal? Now, if I was doing my bar diagram, I have my whole number on top, which is my 700. The 608 is how many minutes she's already practiced. That's the part that I have. And then I have my missing part to figure out how much she has left over. Now I can work this like a subtraction or like an addition. So I can do 700 minus the 608 equals my mystery number, or I can do 608 plus my mystery number is equal to 700. Remember, inverse operations, you can go either way. So if I'm going to subtract 700 minus 608, when I do that subtraction with my regrouping, I end up with 92. So here I know she needs to practice for 92 more minutes to reach her goal. Now, how can I check my answer? I can do 92 plus 608. And since that equals 700, I know that my answer here is correct. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our guided practice for this lesson. Now, our main story problem over here says Mr. Lee had $375 in the bank. So let's annotate. He spent $242. So 375 in the bank, spent 242. Miss Davis had $675 in the bank, and she spent $542. Who has more money left? So over here, the conjecture is that they both have the same amount left. So I need to draw a diagram and have my equations to help represent the math that I'm doing to show, to either prove or disprove this conjecture. So for Mr. Lee, I put an L. L is the amount that Mr. Lee has left over, and D is the amount that Miss Davis has left over. So he started with $375. He spent $242, and he has something left. So 375 minus 242 is equal to L, the amount that he has, that Mr. Lee has left over. And then for Miss Davis, her total was 675. She spent 542, and that leaves me with D, the amount that Miss Davis has left over. So 675 minus 542 equals D. So I drew my bar diagrams to show my math. For number 2, it says use your diagram to support your conjecture. So I either need to use that information to prove or disprove my answer, that they both have the same amount left. So remember, over here we said L is equal to 375 minus 242. I stacked and subtracted. 5 minus 2 is 3, 7 minus 4 is 3, 3 minus 2 is 1. So Mr. Lee has $133. For Ms. Davis, 675 minus 542. 5 minus 2 is 3, 7 minus 4 is 3, 6 minus 5 is 1. She also has $133 left over. So my conjecture is correct. Both have the same amount left, which is $133 left in their bank accounts. So I annotated my question. I came up with my conjecture. I used diagrams and equations to show the work that I needed to do. And then I used those diagrams and equations to solve and find my answer. This is how you construct an argument. This is how you show your work and show that your answer is correct by proving it. That's it for this lesson. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day. Take care. Bye-bye.